Hello, this is Brandon Elridge with episode 7 of season 2 of my podcast, where I'm talking with Ginny O'Connor. Do you lack focus or are you a multi-passionate? I hope you enjoy our conversation. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or somewhere other than Substack, you can visit my Substack publication to support me financially. I would really appreciate it. Thanks. Hello, everybody. I'm Brandon Elridge, and my publication is Brandon Elridge is So Gay. And today I'm here with Ginny O'Connor.
Hi.
And Ginny, if you want to introduce yourself or tell us a little bit about what you're doing here, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Jenny O'Connor. I have two publications, Down the Rabbit Hole and Magic and Mocktails. I think we're probably going to be talking about things more in line with Down the Rabbit Hole today, right? You wanted to talk about
Yeah,
multi-passionate stuff?
I mean, we can do both. I mean, I've looked a little bit at the Magic and Mocktails too, so we might, just however it goes, it's fine.
Yay. Okay. Yeah, I have questions for you about stuff like I think I heard you say something about wanting to write fiction.
Oh
Did you
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that my Magic and Mocktails is like personal essays and eventually will be fiction. I haven't posted any fiction over there yet, but I'm kind of changing gears in 2026. But yeah, so I mostly on my Down the Rabbit Hole publication talk about being multi-passionate. And if you are multi-passionate, you probably already know that, but it just means like wanting to do all the things. Ginger Cook, what a sweet thing to say. Aw, thanks.
Well, speaking of Ginger, so you've never been on a Substack Live before, and I I interviewed Ginger earlier in the month, and she had never been on one either. So I think I've had like 4 people this month who have never done it before. So I think it's really cool though that you're doing it with me.
Yeah, you're popping my Substack Live cherry. I think that I maybe even
Yeah.
saw that phrase tossed around with Ginger too.
Yes.
Who is
Yes.
also adorable. I'm gonna pay the compliment right back to you, Ginger, because I watched that one and and you're adorable too.
Oh, yes. Yes. She's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I have to know, did you actually go live every day this month?
Well, I skipped one day. It was like the 27th, and I don't know. It was right after I had lost like uh, 2 paid subscribers this month, and it was like the opposite of what I was trying to do with this. I was trying to go live and get more subscribers and all this, and then it was just kind of I mean, I've suffered from depression, for a long time, and uh, little things like that just kind of discourage me and stuff. So sometimes if something like that happens, I'm like, ugh, why bother? I just get all dramatic with it. But it was just that one day, and then I got back into it the next day. So it's
Well, I mean, I think that all but one is still absolutely incredible. And I was going to ask you, like, do you feel like it was worth it? And I'm sorry to hear that you lost 2 paid subscribers because that would also totally discourage me. That's frustrating.
yeah,
I you feel like Substack like has gotten weird? Yeah,
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 yeah. I mean, I still think it was worth it. Like I met a lot of different people. I went on. I mean, like you, I've never talked to you in person,
yeah.
face
In
to
real
face
life.
or whatever. Right, right. So I've interacted, with I've seen you come up a lot in my notes and stuff. You like my posts and stuff like that, and I have done the same with you, and I've read a couple of your articles, and so I've interacted with you, and I remember your name from Medium. I don't know if I
Oh.
knew a whole lot about you from there, but I recognize your name at least, and I went back on Medium to look you up and stuff. But
Oh,
um,
that's cool. Yeah, I sort of caught the medium wave at the very tail end when everyone was jumping ship. Um, but I came over here when things were still it was like the glory days and
yeah,
got so excited and completely believed that this was going to be like, this is how I do business now. This is going to pay all my bills. And
Yeah.
sadly, that is not what has happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So how long have you been on Substack?
Um, Andrea Hoffman and I started like the exact same time, which I think was the tail end of last last year. Am I saying that right? End of 2024, August of 2024, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think I've only been on for a little over a year. And just it was I had 14 months, Andrea says. Yeah, so that sounds right. And I had never had success on a social media platform, and I had two articles go viral right in the very beginning, and I was just like, "Holy cow, this is amazing." And yeah, I I have now shifted from trying to make this a platform for my discoverability to make forging relationships. Like that is definitely awesome for, and that's what I'm going to continue to do in the new year. And virality be damned, like
yeah.
it's whatever.
Yeah, Andrea Hoffman. Actually, I remember her from Medium also. I think we were in the same. We were part of a writing prompt group, and
Oh.
we followed these prompts and everything. And I remember her being part of that. I'm pretty sure she can correct me if I'm wrong, but I I remember interacting with her through the messages and stuff through our on our stories. But yeah, so what has prevented you from going live so far?
Um, it's funny. I was sort of bummed when they started doing such a push to make lives and video more of a thing on Substack.
Oh
And
yeah,
I understand why they're doing it, but I love long form. I love that I found a place where people were willing to read long form, and kind of turning it into Instagram feels like it has I was afraid it would take away from what I loved about Substack, and I feel like it kind of has. I've done a pretty good job of ensuring that my feed is still like readers that I want to read, and I'm trying to train myself back into going into people's posts because I think it's really easy to get stuck in notes, and that's junk
yeah,
food, that is the social media
yeah,
junk food that I escaped when I left Meta at the beginning of last year. Um, so I mean, I watched you and Christy Keller. Like, it has been a joy to watch a few of the people that I know and love do lives, but generally, that's not the mood I'm in when
yeah,
I'm on Substack. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
But I mean, it's
there's
supposed to be great for visibility and getting eyeballs on your work. So do you feel like mostly it's been helpful for that?
it has for me. Well, somebody in the chat I know would agree with you. Ben Yalancey, he's more he joined Substack and he's talked about wanting it to be a platform for writers and he doesn't really like the direction it goes anyway. I know he's talked about that a lot, but he just joined that in the chat. But um, yeah, I've gained a lot of subscribers from my live videos
Good.
and so it brings them to my articles and stuff like that and so it has helped for exposure and gaining more subscribers. It's not something I intended on doing when I signed up. Kind of the same way I was on Medium, I was writing on there and heard about Substack and thought I could make money,
Yeah.
and moved over here and I did not intend on doing any kind of audio podcasts, live videos, any of that stuff. I was just going to write just like I was on Medium. And then I thought, well, the audio podcast would be cool. And so I started doing the audio thing and still didn't do any live videos until I don't know, a few months later. And yeah, so then I've gone live quite a bit, but I am still writing. And I've been doing cooking videos too, and a lot of people like those. So
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
saw that. That's one of your multi-passions, I take it,
y-
right?
yes, yes. Yeah. And I read your article. Let's see. What was it? Multi-passionate or just avoiding your most important work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think
that
that
term multi-passionate.
yeah, I think that I mean, so do you identify, because when I say like most multi-passionate people know that they are this way even if they don't have a word for it. Do you identify with like the struggle of, for instance, you have a day and there's nothing planned in that day, or like you get a day back for some reason, like someone's like, "Oh, plans are canceled and now you have all this time." Do you Is it a struggle to figure out which of all of the millions of things you wanna do to spend your time on for that day? Can you relate to that?
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't just stick to one thing, I'm sure. I mean, I would, yeah, I can, and even if it's a working kind of day, I'll try to work on like my freelance writing stuff and on Substack and editing the videos and all that kind of stuff. It'll be everything.
Yeah, yeah. I hear people sometimes try to claim multi-passion because they're like a lawyer with a hobby they do on the weekends, and I just wanna
Oh
say,
yeah.
that's you're a specialist with a hobby, and that's fine. I mean, we need specialists, obviously, but if it it's really that there's a struggle, there's an internal struggle, and you're like, "And I know I should be working on this, but I really wanna be working on this, and oh my god, squirrel," like that
Yeah.
that is being multi-passionate, and, I mean, even as I was shopping for Christmas gifts for my mom, she wanted these watercolor workbooks, um, I was like, "Oh my god, I think I wanna take up watercolor in 2026." And there were
Oh
so
yeah.
many times I had to be like, stop it, you can't," because what I really wanna do in 2026 is write my novel. So that was what that piece, multi-passionate or just avoiding your most important work, was born out of, was recognizing that, yes, I love all the things, but I think I use all the things as a means to avoid the thing that I would literally regret on my deathbed if I didn't do it, which is writing my novel. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
in 2026, I'm going to actually try to focus. No promises, but we'll see.
Yeah, I kind of identify the multi-passionate thing as far as writing goes too, because on Medium I would write all kinds of different things and I would put them in different publications. I was part of a cat publication, and like poetry and all these a whole bunch of different things. But when you come to Substack, they kind of I think they kind of pressure you into like finding this specific niche, and writing that because that's what people, if they're paying for a subscription, they want this specific thing all the time. I didn't really like that idea, but I've I'm kind of stayed in a sort of niche, but I am, every once in a while I'm branching out into other things too.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize that in you immediately when I said niches are for niches. Absolutely. um, because of the cooking stuff. I was like, that isn't, that's a whole, it's still creativity, but it's obviously a branch apart from what your writing is generally
Correct.
about. Did I hear
Yeah.
you say you want to maybe write a cookbook eventually?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that too, like coming up with my, original recipes and making an entire cookbook out of those. So yeah, that's another thing.
So Magic and Mocktails, I have a separate website that's just for mocktails, but the catch, the fun part of them is that they also have like beneficial ingredients in them. So they are they might have ashwagandha or collagen or just something that's actually good for you. And they're accompanied by a ritual for a particular transformation. So they're like magical mocktails,
Okay.
and I would ultimately like to write a book about all of those recipes too. So totally different from the fiction or the personal essays or the self-development. And over here we're
Yeah.
doing mocktails. So yeah.
Yeah, I read one of the articles on Magic and Mocktails, broke ass cold plunging.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, I do not like the cold. I don't like cold showers. I the idea of plunging myself into an ice bath just makes me cringe. But I know there are benefits and everything. I read your article and listing all the benefits of it and everything. I'm like, I just don't know if I could do it.
Here's the thing, you know right away if that sounds fucking terrible to you or not. And if it does, don't do it. I don't think it's
Yeah,
for you. I think there are other things you could do, like red light sauna or whatever, find another
yeah,
trend that you can jump on the wagon for. But I am going through perimenopause, so I run about 1 million degrees all the time. And I love them. I literally like the ice
yeah,
melted after the 4 minutes that I've been sitting in the ice bath. So for me, it is this great thing to do. Like, obviously, it has all the health benefits, but also it's just relief. It's just relief from being so hot all the time.
yeah, yeah. I can understand that. Like,
Yeah.
I have in the shower, I have like turned it on the cold side and got a hit of cold, and then I turn it quickly back to the hot
Right.
side.
Right.
But
That's
because
another
I
way to do it is to give yourself
yeah, yeah,
the final warm rinse and then you feel better. But they say you get the most benefits if you do cold last.
okay, well,
I
all
know.
right,
There are times
I'll
when I
try
get
it.
out and can't feel my fingers and I go back to like type on my computer and I'm like my fingers are numb. It's the weirdest sensation. I'm crazy. I'm a little bit of a glutton for punishment. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Laggy says, Brandon says, fuck that.
yeah. It's okay. A lot of people say fuck that. Also, if you read the post, it's about how like stupid and labor intensive it is. Like I do not have a automatically chilled tub to get into. I have to
Right.
trek bags of ice from my freezer. It takes me like 25 trips. It's just absolutely ridiculous that I engage in this activity.
Yeah, I saw the picture of your freezer. It's ice, more ice, even more.
I cannot buy frozen food. There's no room.
Yeah. Who needs food?
I know. It's just ridiculous. But, so many health and beauty trends are. So hey, it's torture and also awesome. Exactly.
So it feels like your the multi-passionate thing kind of goes along with the name of your publication too, Down the Rabbit Hole. I mean, I first of all, I love the name of the publication because I love Alice in Wonderland. I love Lewis Carroll. I think I think that's so cool. But kind of multi-passionate, I feel like you do kind of oh, I want to do this, and then that leads you to something else, and you just go down this rabbit hole. Is that kind of where you were going with the publication too?
Absolutely. I mean, how many times have you looked up and hours have passed because you've been in a rabbit hole? I've started using the word as a verb, like, oh, I'm rabbit holing today.
Yeah.
Um, but also, yes, and one of my early careers, early in life, I was a costume designer and I made several of the costumes from Alice in Wonderland for various Halloweens. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, the caterpillar was kind of like my claim to fame. Uh, and then I started I took this course on AI brand photography. I know that AI is very polarizing, and there are probably people that are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I had always wanted these fantasy photo shoots that were so hard to create in real life inside of a
Yeah.
studio. And I joined a program. It was actually really expensive, but I learned a ton of stuff about how to create those images. So on my website, and all of the photography that accompanies my posts is me in like some form of the color palette. And I decided to go steampunk Alice in Wonderland. So my whole website is
Oh, yeah.
steampunk style Alice in Wonderland, but like my branding page is me as the Red Queen. The homepage is me as the Mad Hatter. It is so much fun. I absolutely love being able to like have an idea and then like make it happen in an hour. I just think that's so cool. So I liked that it could be both. It could be something I've always been passionate about, which is Lewis Carroll and that whole story, and the fact that rabbit holing is something that multi-passionates can all relate to.
Yeah. Yeah. I've worked as an AI trainer for a few years, just doing different types of projects, but and that's kind of polarizing too. And people might look at that and be like, "You're working for the enemy."
I know.
Or,
I get it.
but I mean, some of the stuff I do isn't exactly, it's not trying to make AI take over the world or anything. It's like audio prompts. I say a speech or something and do it from a certain distance away with noises and pet noises in the background or something like that to get it to try to distinguish what you're trying to tell or what you're trying to ask and that kind of thing. So, but anyway, there's a lot of different projects that I've worked on, but yeah, and I've used AI for some images and stuff. I don't use it so much anymore. I try to use my own photography but just the unsplash images and the pixels and stuff, they get so overused, and there's just not anything that fits what I want.
That's the
So
thing. I always want something crazy that doesn't
yeah,
exist, And yes, I would love to be able to make it be my own photography, or to be able to afford to hire a photographer to make that exact image
yeah,
that I see in my head. But this is just easier and faster and lets me get to what I want to get to that I would not be able to accomplish otherwise. To your point
right,
about training and quote unquote working for the enemy, don't you
yeah,
think we need good, ethical people who understand the like creative downsides to be involved in the building of it so that there can be some moral parameters? I mean, I think that that's super
yeah,
important. And I think that you are playing an important role in that. You know what I mean?
yeah. I feel like what I'm doing is the good part of it. I
Yeah.
mean, and I know Joseph Gordon-Levitt is on Substack, and he's in the AI space. He talks a lot about that, about trying to get compensation for creators because AI goes and pulls stuff from everywhere, and they don't wherever they get it from, they're not compensating them for
Right.
taking their work or anything. And he's trying to get it to where laws are passed where it's kind of regulated and creators get compensated. So I think he's doing really good work on uh, on that front also.
Yeah, my dream is that there's one giant class action lawsuit. We all get a little piece of it one
that,
day.
that would be nice. Yes.
Yeah, yes. I mean, a girl can dream.
Yeah. And I think some of the companies especially can afford it. Meta, I think, you know,
Absolutely. It wouldn't, it's chump change. Come on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I wrote a few things down. Oh, in one of your in that article about multi-passionates, you used a quote that I thought was pretty funny. The Cheshire Cat telling Alice, "If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter much where you go."
Yeah. Which way you go, right?
Yeah, which way you go. There you go.
Yeah. And I have spent so much of my multi passionate life, like wanting to I know I want to create, I know I want to make money as a creator, but like which of the things that I love should I be doing? So I actually have a course devoted to helping you if you have 25 business ideas, helping you figure out which one is the one that you should actually turn into a business. Based on things like, for instance, a lot of multi-passionates get bored with something and leave it behind. Like that's a pretty standard part of being this way. And if you use as one of your filters for deciding what to make a business out of, what aligns most with your core values, you're less likely to abandon things. You're finding something that's just
Yeah,
super aligned with who you are and where you want to go in your life and where you want to end up. Um, So that's one of the things that I use the same sort of system for deciding my to-do list every single day. You know, like which of these things is most aligned? Sure, I want to sit down and like paint botanical watercolor, but is that
Yeah.
is that moving the needle forward on my most important work? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And another thing you said is a lot of what we chase is somebody else's idea of success, which I think is very true. A friend of mine, she's always talking about the job that she has. She makes a certain amount of money, and she's kind of lamented that sadly that's the highest paid job I've ever had. And my sister does this and this and this. And you know, I think we all get kind of caught up in the comparison trap
Yeah.
and that idea of success, just making a lot of money isn't necessarily success in some people's eyes. I don't want a job that I hate. I don't want to go to work and make a lot of money and but be miserable all day long, and dread looking at the clock and just waiting for 5 o'clock to get here and dreading going to work back to work the next day. I don't want to do that. I would rather like what I'm doing now. I love what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I'm not making a lot of money at it,
Yeah.
but I love it, and I would rather do that. I would rather enjoy what I'm doing every day and make less money than the other way around.
I agree. I think that it's about redefining what success means for you because we've been raised in, I mean, this is changing slowly, but we've been raised in a specialist world. So if we're comparing ourselves to other people's accomplishments and accolades, we're measuring ourselves by a specialist yardstick.
Yeah.
And that's never going to serve us. Like, I don't care that I don't have six figures in the bank. I care that when I wake up in the morning, I am excited to get started on my day because I look forward to the work that I do. Like even the client work, which is always sort of like, oh, I have to do client work now, is
Yeah.
still, I create my own schedule. I have time freedom. To me, that is what
Yeah.
success.
Yeah. And I think that kind of translates to Substack too, when you're doing what you love, but you're not, maybe you don't have the follower count that this other person does. You don't have as many, you're not gaining as many paid subscribers as this person. And even though you've been here almost just as long or whatever it is, and, but you also don't know their journey and how long they've been doing this before they got here and what kind of marketing they're doing and that kind of thing. So it's hard to compare yourself to someone else when you don't know the full story.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that anyone who is on a straight trajectory rather than one that goes like this like, is going to get to their goal faster. I mean, just look at that
Yeah.
path. And so if they're writing about one thing, can you imagine writing about one topic forever? You'd be so unhappy, right?
Yes. I do not want that.
Uh-uh. No. And so I know that my path is going to take longer, but like what I wanted to build with Down the Rabbit Hole was a community where other people just like you who are like, I don't want to write about one thing, but I also don't want to be confusing and I still want people to pay me. So how do I
Yeah.
communicate what they're paying for in a way that still allows me the freedom to write about all of the things that I'm interested in?
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was saying on one of my videos the other day is like I like doing all these different things. I don't want to limit myself to this one thing. And I guess that's who I'm looking for, my audience, the ones that I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who also like what I do. I like seeing different things from people and a variety. And I'm hoping that I'll find an audience that likes the same thing. That they like my variety. And I've heard several people say that they do. They like the satire and comedy, and they like the cooking videos and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just hoping to grow that
Yeah.
fan base.
It's just about being really clear that those are the people that you're talking to. Like
Right.
because when you watch someone else do it and be just like happy and in their element, like again, whether or not they're making six figures, Like, that's permission giving. That shows you that you can do that too,
Yeah.
And that's what I just love to surround myself with other people. Like, our success looks different, and that's totally okay. But everyone that I talk to is so excited all the time about the stuff that they're working on. And like Andrea, who we keep referring back to in the comments, like, she will like send me a Voxer message and she's like, "Oh my God, I have this new novel idea and I'm so excited about it." Like, it is inspiring to be around people who are that enthusiastic all the time, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I want to talk. You people sit at my table when, I go to a dinner party because I want to hear about how excited you are about the projects you're working on.
Right.
Yeah. I also wanted to say to Ginger, because she said she quits everything and thought she was just lazy. There's a really fun exercise to do, which is to like write down everything. Like, it'll take you a while. Give yourself a day or two or like a solid hour to do this, but like write down everything you've ever done, including things you haven't finished. Because I feel like sometimes when you don't finish anything, you get to be in your mid 40s like me and you're like, what do I have to show for my life, kind of. But if you make this list of all the things you've done and started and not finished, the whole complete list, you'll be like, oh my God, I have done so many things. I'm really interesting. And then you can go back to each of the things you didn't finish and kind of try to think about why you stopped. Like, what point did you get to? Let's say you were like learning to surf and you got to the point where you stood up on the board and you were like, I'm good now. And then you like stopped surfing after that. That's the reward that you were seeking, and different people are driven by different rewards. Some people only want to be competent at a thing. They don't need to be the master of it. They don't need to make a
Yeah.
career out of it. They just want to be able to say, "Oh, I can do that." And if once you realize that your rewards look different from other people's, the specialists especially, um you're more at peace with leaving things behind. You like understand more like what, oh, I actually did finish that in my own way because all I ever needed was like a base level competency at that thing and I got that. So on to the next. It's a
Yeah.
good exercise. I really love that. It will make you like feel less like, oh man, I suck, because you don't. You are one of the most interesting people in the room, I guarantee it.
So that leads perfectly into something I was gonna mention next. The article, "A Simple Way to Make 2026 Your Bitch." You talked about performing an annual review, which is kind of what you were talking about in a way, but
Yeah.
this is just focused on the year, I guess. But I've always hated. I don't do New Year's resolutions.
I was going to ask you about that. Okay. You don't do them.
I now I just figure like if I want to make a change, I should do it now and not wait and not I don't know, not depend on a certain day, like the beginning of New Year's Day. Like I need to start doing this thing on this day. And and also it's just because a lot of other people do it. That's
Right.
why I
I
don't
know,
want
me
to.
too. That's kind of like everyone's like, "What's your word for the year?" And I'm like, "Ugh."
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no,
Okay, but I've done that in the past. I've totally done it. It's just
yeah,
this year is the year I decided that like word for the year is like so last year, so I'm not doing it.
yeah. But I do like this idea of doing kind of the annual review. You mentioned like extracting the lessons that you've learned and going through all your, like you were saying just a minute ago, listing all of the things you've done instead of comparing. Just go through and see. Well, look at all of these things that I've accomplished. And I'm just looking at like Substack. I'm just focused on that right now for me. What have I done this year? What have I accomplished? And like, what numbers have I hit or whatever, gone live during these times and that kind of thing. So I think that's a really good um, suggestion, a practice that that I would like to do. I'm going to sit down and write those things out.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing. I have done it every year for as long as I can remember. And it the annual review workbook that's included in that post is long. I mean, it takes me, I do it like 30 minutes a day for a week kind of to get it finished. But it is such a antidote. I always get those words confused. Antidote to feeling, what have I accomplished? Like what do I have to show for my life? What did I get done this year? It is an antidote to that. It will show you've done so many things. And there so much growth from last year. Like, look at you. You were like, I never even thought of doing lives or
Yeah.
podcasts. Now here you are concluding a month of going live. That is
Yeah.
such an achievement. And you need to take a minute and celebrate yourself for having achieved that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, and I think
It
we
is kind of
go on
hard.
to the next thing. We live in such a busy
Yeah.
world. We're always, like, "Oh, I wish I could be more this way. I could be skinnier. I could be more successful. I could have more followers on Substack." But the way that you attract those things is to celebrate what you have now and to practice gratitude for what you have now, because that energy magnetizes more to be grateful for and more to celebrate. So that's what I think makes it such a positive exercise, is all you're doing is like saying more of this please to the universe.
Yeah. Right. Right. Putting it out there, basically.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
And I mean,
that's
again,
something that,
like, I want people to know that they are so interesting, even if they feel like they're squirrel brained. You are the most interesting. Because
yeah.
everything makes you curious with like that childlike enthusiasm, like kid on Christmas excitement about, this new thing you're like learning how to do. And it could be knitting, but like you're excited. That's so cool.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've enjoyed about this going live every day and having all these different people. I mean, originally I thought I was going to have to do most of it by myself because I didn't know how many people would, agree to come on or want to do it at all. And I ended up having a ton of people. Like, I mean, almost every day, Monday through Friday, pretty much every week. And it was somebody different. I was talking to somebody different every day and different subjects, the people with different expertise and different passions. And I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been great. I've had a lot of fun, and hopefully everybody else has too.
I really love this platform for the community building. I mean,
Yeah.
I've only met Andrea in person so far, but I have plans in March to meet someone else. And I went on a long road trip this summer, and um, we were ships passing in the night. But I was going to meet Zach Hively for lunch. It didn't end up happening, but that's my goal.
Oh.
Like, I want one day. In fact, I think you were probably one of the people who commented on a note I posted a while back. Like, we need to do a Substack like gathering, because the people who, I don't know how we all found each other, if it was like we started at the same time, but it seems like we're kind of, I don't mean to say clique, like people aren't included, but it's sort of the same people who kind of support each other and like comment on each other's posts and stuff. And like, I
Yeah.
want to get that group of people together. I don't care where it happens. It could happen in a different state every single year. And we've got people, Christy Keller's in Canada, so let's go all over the place. But that's what this platform has given me, that has been so beautiful and different from all of the other social media platforms that just sort of like sucked my soul away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what you gained from going live. That's so cool.
And Christy Keller has talked about that too. She was on her podcast with Dre a couple months ago. They were talking about wanting to do like a writers thing where they all went down to Mexico and stuff. And I was like, I'll go. And she said, yeah, you can be our cook.
Oh, well, see,
Our,
I was a private chef for a while, so you and I can like
oh yeah.
team that operation. I love that idea.
Okay. That's cool.
I'm not as good at making up. I mean, mocktail recipes, sure, but I heard you say you're like, I just made up a sweet potato cheesecake recipe, and I was like, how baking is a pretty exact science. Like cooking is different. You can just throw in pinches and handfuls, but
Yeah.
baking is like chemistry. So I'm mad impressed that you just made that
Well,
up.
thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I've made a lot of cheesecakes before, so I know like the basics of it, and so I know what I can like substitute and stuff. I know the amounts that I can play with. So yeah.
Wow. I tried to make saffron snickerdoodles at the
Okay.
beginning of this month because I've had them before and they were absolutely delicious. And so I was like, okay. And have you ever cooked with saffron?
No, I don't think so.
So it's expensive, but at Trader Joe's they sell like a little jar of it for like $5. So you can get the Spanish saffron is cheaper. And but you have to bloom it, which means soak the little strands in waters, and then it all kind of like releases.
Okay.
So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to put this in a tablespoon of water. So I need to take out a little bit of liquid from the cookie dough recipe. But once I had let it sit for several minutes, it had sort of thickened up. It wasn't liquid anymore. It was kind of like a paste. So I just threw it in. I was like, I don't need
Yeah.
to adjust anything. This is fine. And it wasn't fine. They came out like so thin. Even if I froze the dough before I put it in the oven, they came out so they were like paper thin. They tasted great,
Huh.
but they did not look pretty. So I was forced to eat the entire batch of cookies by myself because I couldn't give them away because they weren't attractive.
Yeah. So did you figure out what went wrong
I
or
don't know. And I mean, I was a professional chef. Like you would think that it makes me mad when stuff like that happens. I'm like, I think I've lost my mojo a little bit, but I don't I will learn a recipe and then not deviate from it too much. I mean, especially when it comes
Oh,
to
yeah.
baking. And so I heard you say that and I was just like, "Oh, that's a skill I would really love to have, but I do not."
Well, I don't do it with everything, and I would like to expand. I would like to try different types of things, but I know I can do it with cheesecake at least. So I can go from there, I guess.
Well, I do love cheesecake, so you will be in charge of the cheesecake when we all get together.
Oh yeah, I'll do dessert. That's my favorite part.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I really like and Christy, because she's got her knowledge of Jamaica, has suggested that we all go there at some point,
Yeah.
she'll be the tour guide. So I think if everyone has like a responsibility, it will be a really fun party.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to a writers retreat in August and I met Robin Wilding and Ben Yancey, who's in the chat, and a couple other writers we met in Maine. We all came from Medium and we were in a writers group, and now everybody's on Substack too. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh,
I would
that's
love to do that
so
again.
great. Yeah, I mean that's when we said let's do like we'll have storytelling hour around the campfire or we'll do
Yeah,
writing workshops during the day. So I mean we can make it if we make it a working vacation, we can write it
exactly.
off.
I know that's what I was like. Okay, we were we rented a couple of kayaks and went out on the water, and I was like, well, I guess we need to talk about writing so I can write this off.
Totally. Totally. This is I love this plan and I think we should do one every year and just get the ball rolling on this as soon as possible. So,
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Andrew says got to run. Oh, and
Bye.
she said earlier
Bye.
it was a different Andrea that I was talking that was on
From
Medium. So
I didn't think she had been on Medium, but you know, I don't have everybody's story memorized, but
yeah.
yeah.
Oh well.
Did you find was Medium good to you while you were there?
Yeah. I mean, I I know a lot of people have complaints about it, and I've complained too, but I really appreciate what it did do. I felt like I was part of a community there of writers, and I got to the point where I was getting a bunch of articles boosted, and that really helped me at a time I really needed it. And then, of course, they changed everything around, and the boost pretty much was almost dead. And
Yeah.
then, so then I came to then I went. I got a freelance writing job that was pretty much full time and wrote there for several months and hardly posted on Medium at all. And then that job ended. And anyway, went back and forth and got to Substack and I've done pretty well here. I've gained a lot of subscribers and stuff and met a bunch of new people. And so yeah, each platform has been good. I started off on WordPress and had a blog there
Mm-hmm.
and I did a lot of fiction and poetry and then went to Medium and now Substack. So there's been something good on every platform I've been on so far as the writing and community and stuff like that.
I think
But
that's the important thing is to focus on, and all of them have gotten you to write consistently, which is maybe the
right.
most important thing, because for me,
Yeah.
I wanted to do it for years, but I wasn't doing it. So it really helped, especially feeling an obligation to people on Substack to produce at a steady clip.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I need some accountability in order to stay consistent sometimes.
Yeah. That's what I felt too. Especially once I started getting paid subscribers, I was like, well, I've got to get this. If somebody's paying me, I've got to, put it out
Yeah.
and give them what they expect. So
Yeah,
what about
it's
in
almost a little bit stressful.
I know. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I run out of ideas or whatever. It's like I've got to have something for next week, and I don't have. You know,
So what do you do when you're because this is very relevant to my life at the moment. I have not been very inspired. I think it's because I've been kind of mad at Substack, honestly, and it has just sort of sucked my inspiration dry. How do you come up with ideas when you're feeling like you don't have any?
sometimes. Well, one fortunate thing is I still have a bunch of stuff on Medium, so sometimes I'll be able to go there and take an article and look at it and be like, this isn't really that great, but it could be. I could work on it and make it into something better and then put it on Substack, kind of revamp it or whatever.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so sometimes that works. And then, like, well, during December, for me, December is easy because I can write a bunch of stuff about Christmas and letters to Santa. And I wrote one about going to visit him and twerking on his lap and stuff there's
Yeah.
always something funny I can come up with having to do with Christmas. So that part's easy. But then after the new year, I'm like, well, I don't want to write a New Year's resolution type post or, that everybody does that. And I guess I could, and I don't know, write New Year's dissolutions or something, take an idea and do the opposite of it or something like that.
That would be fun. I would definitely read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I, I can't really say what I do. I guess it just something comes to me eventually. I just, look at different things and different ideas and I may like I may even use I don't use AI for my writing. Sometimes I'll ask it something for ideas or whatever and it almost always gives me lame
Yeah. Trash.
kind of yeah, basically. But what it does give me is like okay, that's trash, but I know what I can do to make it better. I have an idea that I can change it and make it a good idea, because so far I haven't gotten any good ideas from it, but I have gotten something like I can change that to make it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does that for me too. I'll look at something, I'll be like, none of this is usable as is, but there's a kernel of something in that sentence there that I'm going to run with
Right.
over
Yeah.
here. So I do find it really helpful for that. I also find it there are times when there's a word that I'm trying to get to. I think this is also part of being perimenopause, like our brains melt. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm so hot all the time. Um and I can't think of the word, but I can think of all of the context around the word. So I can just
Oh
tell
yeah.
that it's like it means this and it's a synonym of this. And can you like what word am I looking for? And it will help me. So I do use it sometimes to just idea generate and stuff like that.
Right.
Do you find that being a writer, weird stuff happens to you a lot?
Um, I don't know if it's because I'm a writer, but I think weird stuff happens to a lot of people and they don't pay attention. I
Maybe it's
think
that, but I feel like I know all the writers I know are like, "This crazy thing happened to me, and it's crazy," but maybe it's only because we know how to capture it and then tell other people.
right.
Yeah.
I kind of think that's the way it is because some people will say something, tell a story or whatever. I'm like, that's a great story. I
Yeah.
mean, it may be something just small and insignificant to them, but it's like, oh, I could take that and run with it, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. I love that. I mean, I think that we're always looking for the thing that's intriguing about the mundane situation that we happen to find ourselves in. And
Right.
I just think writers lead more exciting lives, even though I know we're introverts and, often like to be solitary. I certainly am that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I am too.
Still I still can find the exciting, yeah, or tragic or just moving moment that other people might miss.
Yeah. Well, we are approaching the hour mark, but I mean, I want to kind of ask you about what you're going to be doing in the future. Like, what does 2026 look like for you? What are you going to be doing with your publication, and or what do you want to tell people about it?
Well, I it's kind of ironic because we came here to talk about, I mean, we talked about a bunch of stuff, but we came here to talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
multi-passionate, and I find myself feeling drawn towards choosing I'm going to write my novel this year and like everything else can just be background. So
Okay.
I'm really what I feel like it means I kind of have to start over. My audience knows me for my self-development, my multi-passionate essays and things like that, and I really want to develop an audience around fiction, this novel that I'm writing, but also short stories and personal essays. So it's very scary to think of starting over again. But I think that's what I have to do. I will certainly tell all of the people who are my down the rabbit hole readers, like, if you're into this, please join me over here. But I think I will be probably publishing one piece a month for down the rabbit hole and really focusing my efforts on my other publication for the near future. And my goal is to have the novel, at least the first draft, completely written by the end of this year or next year.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, I think we mentioned earlier that I was thinking about doing it like poetry and fiction, maybe having a separate publication for that. Well, one of the reasons was on Halloween night, I'm sorry, I went on a live video and I read a couple of original short stories. And I don't know if you know, but when you do a live video, they have a Substack has an AI program that automatically makes clips, and you can put those clips on social media or whatever, and put them on notes or whatnot. And so one of these clips that it put out there, it got tons of views and likes and stuff, and it still is. Like just yesterday or maybe even today, there was somebody else that liked it. I don't know where it is or where people are finding this, but it just keeps getting a bunch of likes. And I thought, well, maybe I need to do more of this. Maybe people want to hear more fiction, short story fiction, and that kind of thing. So, like, I might as well try it, I guess. And so I'm thinking about doing a separate publication. So, I'm not going to put it on my one now because nobody's expecting that kind of stuff from
Sure.
me. And so, but if you like short stories and poetry, you can subscribe to this other one, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes.
I would love to stay connected around that topic because I think finding other people who are because I want to read more of that stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's continue this conversation because I will absolutely cheerlead for you because I'm going to be in the same boat right there with you.
Well, I will mutually support you also.
Yay!
Have you
Yay!
have you thought about like putting yours on like your novel? Have you thought about putting it on Substack, like a chapter at a time or something like that?
The serial release is very interesting to me, but I wonder like I mean, surely that's I can't release it as a first draft. Like surely that's way down the line when I'm actually
Yeah.
closer to done because right now I know it's probably mostly terrible.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you would probably want to edit and all that kind of stuff. Get somebody
yeah,
else to look at it. Yeah.
yeah, but I definitely do. I have a great idea for a short story right now that I think will be the first thing that I publish on Magic and Mocktails in the new year. And
Okay.
hopefully some people will want to read it. So
Yeah. Well, I coming on here, especially when I've done it before. I think that was really cool. And I see your name all the time and so I was like, why not ask?
I'm
Oh,
so glad you did. I've followed you, and I saw the episode of Dre and Christie's
oh
podcast
yeah.
that you did, and I was very excited to meet you in real life. So this was a total blast. It went by so fast. So thank you.
Yeah, I know. I don't think we really got to everything I kind of thought we would talk about, but that's the down the rabbit hole kind of thing. So it fits, I guess.
Absolutely, it's a good problem to have when you have too much to talk about. I think so.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. Well, again, thanks everybody for coming in. If you haven't
yeah.
subscribed to Jenny O'Connor and Down the Rabbit Hole, please do that and subscribe to me if you're not already. So, but thanks a lot for coming. Happy New Year and
Thank you. You too.
good luck.
Thanks you as well. Thank you,
All
everyone.
right.
Love to see you all.
All
Bye.
right. Thanks.
Bye.